Hi, folks. It's Chris Daly, and it's my privilege to always bring in information on Jamaicans doing great things all over the world. And today, do I have a treat for you? It's indeed my privilege to enter into conversation with Miss Pauline McKenzie-Henry. I do not use the word hero very lightly, but in the case of Miss Pauline Henry McKenzie, this description so fits, and you may agree with me at the end of our interview. So come and listen in as I dialogue with Miss Pauline. Miss Pauline, welcome to our conversation.
Thank you.
Great. Let's get to learn a little about you. Tell us a little, you're Jamaican, tell us a little about your Jamaican roots.
Okay, I was born and brought up in Green Island, Hanover. I also taught at the primary school prior to going to college in Kingston. So after I finished college, I taught at a few different schools, and then I migrated.
Okay, so you migrated to the United States, and there you continued to your teaching career?
No, I did not. I tried to, but I was turned off a little bit by behaviors and the way other children were, so I decided to go into the finance world.
Okay, great. Well, now you've gotten beyond that, and now you've entered the retirement stage of your life, your golden years. Most people, when they enter this phase of their day, is looking for the easy life, but not you. What motivated you to return to Green Island?
Okay, well, before coming to Green Island, Chris, I searched a few places that I would like to retire, most of them warmer climates. I went to Florida. I checked out Atlanta, Virginia, but they never suited my lifestyle that I wanted. I didn't think that I could get so involved. So I said, well, if I'm going to do all of that and I'm not going to be happy, I'd rather go back to Jamaica. And that is how I came back here.
So your heart and soul has never left Green Island, it seemed, because you went right back to Green Island. You didn't go to the North Coast. You went to Hanover, Green Island.
I still have some family here, Green Island in Hanover. Hanover is the parish.
Great.
So Green Island in Hanover. I still have some relatives here, so it was much easier for me to come back here.
Okay, nice. Well, you'd taken this career of finance, but your heart seemed like it was still in teaching, and so you decided to volunteer at the school. What spurred you to get involved in this activity?
Okay, I knew even before I left Jamaica there was a lot of illiteracy here. And I figured that wherever I could fit in, at first I thought about starting a program at my church where I could teach adults, because there are a lot of adult non-readers here in Green Island. So I figured I'd do that. But it didn't work out at the church, so I decided to go to the primary school where I could help the children and maybe eventually still get some adults involved. So I went to see Mr. Mosley, the principal at Green Island Primary. And when I went to go see him, I told him that I wanted to volunteer to teach reading at his school. His response was, "How much are you charging? Because the school doesn't have any money." I said to him, "Sir, I am not charging you." His response to me was, "How much time can you give me?" So I gave him Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. After a few years, he asked me if I could give him another day because he saw that the program started to work. Because his reading went up, his children that had to pass certain exams, It went up from wherever to wherever. So he saw it's a pull-out reading program where children in certain classes that they were not even capable of passing the fourth grade or third grade exam, whatever the exams were, they were not going to pass it without the intervention. So I was able to help, along with other teachers, help the children, and a lot of them, and the school started to gain a little bit more recognition.
That's wonderful. So how long have you been doing this work?
I've been doing this since October of 2014.
So a few years you've been doing this. And so, but something else have come on your heart as you've been around the school for several years. You noticed that there was a shortage of seating. If my understanding, there are about 600 students, but on the 350 seats that are available in the school. Is that's what you found?
It's that many. Well, I'll tell you something, Chris, about when I started there was no place for me to do what I wanted to do. So I would sit outside under the trees, behind buildings. And then one day a teacher invited me into her classroom because she had a fourth grade class that I was always having. So she invited me into her classroom, and I started doing most of my work in her classroom. And fortunately, most of those children were able to pass the fourth grade exam. So went from that, and then I would get whatever I can. We would have like 2-3 children joining up 2 chairs together so they could sit outside because they had to bring the chairs from their classroom. Then there was a little room where we could get in, but there were no chairs in that room. It was the computer room, and it was so bad. I think there were like maybe 7 chairs in the room, but I had like maybe 15 children, so some of the children had to sit on the floor, and it really did hurt my heart. It did hurt my heart to see them sitting there because there were no extra chairs that we could get for them to sit on. So I continued what I needed to do, and I talked to Mr. Mosley, and he said that they didn't have the money. And I said, all right, we will try and see what I can do. Because as a president of Green Island Primary School, I started to see if I could get donations. We garnered about $500, about that, because people are very, very tight on giving donations to where they came from. So we got those to buy some chairs. And the food for the poor, at the same time, Green Island didn't have space either. They didn't have building space. So Mr. Mosley went and got in touch with Food for the Poor. He's such a great principal. He's always going around trying to find the best for his school. So he got 2 buildings from Food for the Poor where they got 10 new classrooms because they didn't even have space. Right now, there is still 1 classroom that is sharing space. Like they're shared by chalkboards. So they still don't have the space. And I decided to get involved to help the school as best as I could because they didn't have anything. And the money they get from the ministry is limited to what they needed to do. They needed a printer for the school. They needed other supplies. So I got the printer. I bought the printer. My first Social Security check that I got, I used that, and I bought them a printer and put it down here. And I have gotten them, and they needed a PA system. I got that. They needed a bunch of other things, but the chair I need help with because I can only do so much by myself because everything that I am doing it by myself.
Well, we'd like to spread the word here and to give people opportunity to actually participate in this really worthy cause of leaving a legacy of learning by donating a chair. So we're looking to purchase about 150 chairs.
Yes.
Right. So the cost of these chairs, with we can put some recognition of them. It's going to be around $30, $30 US.
Right.
And so what we're going to be doing, we'll be placing on the website of. You even got the website built for the school, right?
Yes.
So
got a lot
could you tell the folks that the name of the domain of the website?
GreenIslandPrimary.com.
GreenIslandPrimary.com. So there will be a link there where people can participate or ask questions about this worthy cause. As we close, do you have any final word of wisdom for our audience, Miss Pauline?
If people could just donate and volunteer your time, and if you're doing well enough to help your community, because you know what, I have seen so many needs in this one school. So I imagine that if it's in this one school, it's all over Jamaica. And there are Jamaicans doing very well abroad that can help their country. So if they can give, whatever they can give, it would be mostly appreciated.
Well, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the challenge. And I look forward to participating with you and making a difference in Green Island.
Thank you, Chris. And thanks again for your